No holiday for Malcolm. In the minds of many Americans, Martin Luther King is the greatest example of any African American who ever lived. A minister and a proponent of nonviolence, he tried to improve the life of the average African American without upsetting white America. In my estimation, the life of Malcolm Little, who would be remembered as Malcolm X, is vastly more interesting, and he is someone people from all walks of life, and most particularly all races, can relate to. No, there is no holiday in his honor. White America does not reward angry black people with holidays, but his life, oddly enough, is one that all Americans, myself in particular, can identify with and hopefully emulate. In my life, I have had many Malcolm-like periods where I felt oppressed, bullied, intimidated, and discriminated against, and completely powerless to change my condition. I'm reminded of the line from the book Matilda, uttered in a rage by her abusive father: "I'm smart, you're dumb, I'm big, you're little, and there's nothing you can do about it." A few decades earlier, words like those rang in the ears of a young Malcolm Little, whose father had been killed by the KKK while living in Lansing, Michigan, and he felt powerless to change his condition. Left to fend for himself, like many young people today, he turned to a life of crime. Prison had an amazing impact on Malcolm. He read every book he could get his hands on. He educated himself. He studied history, art, language, and religion, and made an amazing transition. His intellect lifted him to a higher station. Once released from prison, he continued to explore ways he could make things better for African Americans, who were at that time called Negroes. He became an advocate for black separatism. His philosophy, essentially, was that if whites don't want us, then we don't want them, but he was not rigid in his thinking. As time went by, most particularly after he visited Mecca and saw people of all colors worshiping, sleeping, eating together, and even using the same bathrooms and drinking from the same water fountains, his brilliant, flexible brain kept adjusting. Malcolm returned from Mecca with a new idea. Blacks and whites should live together, and we should focus on educating African Americans. This is the best way to uplift black people. No American of any color ever hit the bullseye so precisely. Malcolm will never get a holiday, since white America will never forgive his early prison and separatist years. But to me, Malcolm X is the perfect example of how we must transition in life and remain open to new ideas, keep learning from cradle to grave, and always retain flexibility in our thinking. Like many young people today, I have a litany of complaints against adults, and I feel discriminated against and without a voice. But like Malcolm observed, education is upliftment. And the more I learn, the more I realize that poverty and authority are not the enemies. Our enemies are ignorance and time. Conceiving of ignorance as an enemy is not very hard. Education dissipates ignorance as the sun does the fog. But time, this is also our enemy. Malcolm was murdered at 39, yet look how much he accomplished. Has anyone in human history ever done so much in such a short period of time? Malcolm said to Alex Haley in his autobiography that I never trusted a man without a watch. A man without a watch does not value time. I am a young American, and my intention is to change this planet for the better. And my role model is Malcolm X. My enemies are not people. My enemies are ignorance and time. I intend to uplift myself through education, stay flexible in my thinking, and remain open to new ideas. And most importantly, I will make the most of every single minute of life I have left. And to that end, I have made an important decision. I'm buying a watch.